my unsoiled name, the austereness of my life. So, according to the folio, these two, the austereness of my life, whoop, that should be elided. The austereness of my life. My unsoiled name, the austereness of my life. Okay. And yeah. And you'll see also overweigh has a comma. So does report. There's a comma after both of those. On this version, which I think I copied from the MIT website, there is no comma here. So punctuation varies across different editions. One thing that I did find, though, specifically regarding punctuation, is it can change completely. It can change completely how you're reading a particular text. In Julius Caesar, there's a line, "You are not Cassius." Is there two S's? So this is how I learned it. "You are not Cassius." And the line was afterwards, "I say I am." "I say you are not." So this is the kind of exchange. "You are not Cassius." "I say I am." And then "I say you are not." Right? And I learned it and performed it countless times with this little comma here. And then on a whim, I decided to look at the scene from the folio version. And in the folio, there is no comma. So that changed the entire that changed the entire scene. Losing that comma right here changed the whole thing. Because without that comma, I'm now saying you are not Cassius. I'm now saying that you aren't someone who I thought you were. And that changed absolutely everything. I now had new motivations for the things that I was saying. Which then changed how my scene partner reacted to the things that I was saying. It changed absolutely everything with just a single comma. So, if you want to do an informed monologue or an informed scene, you definitely want to look at the different versions of Shakespeare's plays. Don't just read the book. Don't just read the No Fear Shakespeare. Don't just read the MIT's website. Compare it with something and see what different things it says, because it's gonna give you so many different ways that you can use you can use the work in different ways that way. So we'll sow your accusation overweigh that you shall stifle in your own report. That's 5 feet, 10 syllables. Let's mark it out, see if it fits. That you shall stifle in your own report. That you shall stifle in your own report. Yeah, I think that works pretty well. I'm going to go ahead and keep on keep making notes of all of my me's and you's. That you shall stifle in your own, I'm going to combine those, your own report. I feel like I would like to say your own report, but in like natural speech, I wouldn't do that. I would say in your own report. So I'll leave it. I would say this line is also a regular iambic pentameter verse line. And smell of calumny. And remember, calumny, we verified, is slander. So, and smell of calumny. And smell of calumny, I have begun. There's 10 syllables again. And smell of calumny, I have begun. And smell of calumny, I have begun. I'd say that's pretty regular as well. And smell of calumny, I have begun. And now I give my sensual race the rein. And now I give my sensual race the rein. So this one fits as long as we take this word sensual and we can't draw it out like we'd want to say sensual. We can't really do that. We have to say just sensual. And now I really like to always just emphasize the word now. As like a general rule, I feel like whenever somebody says now, that is an important thing that they're saying. That's something that, like, that's a discovery. And I think that generally now, if you have the word now, that's a very strong word that you can use. So generally I like to try and see if it works to emphasize it. And sometimes I do it even if it doesn't. And then if it doesn't, then I'll keep it or I won't. If someone tells me to stop, I'll stop. But for now, I'm gonna emphasize it. And if we are following the rules of iambic pentameter, it's emphasized anyway, and it works, and we can move on. And now I give my sensual. We gotta make this word 2 syllables. My sensual race the rein. I feel like there's a lot going on in this particular line. And now I give my sensual race the rein. I'm going to highlight the nows. I'm going to highlight my, what are they? Temporal adverbs, I think. And now I give my sensual race the rein. Something else that I just noticed as I was reading this out loud to myself is that race and rein. Race and rein. I don't know about you, but when I'm talking just extemporaneously, just in conversation, and I find myself kind of accidentally alliterating, I get like really proud of myself. Like, yeah, it's alliteration. I did that. And then I take a nice little sip of boxed wine, and I just love life, you know? So when I come across something that is alliterated, or something that just has a good feel to it when you say it, like F's and V's, I like to make note of those particular individual letters as well, so that I can kind of use the words almost as onomatopoeia, and have the feel and the sound of the words inform my further choices about that particular line. And now I give my sensual race the rain. Sensual. It's a sexy word, right? Race and rain. Those are like, I feel kind of soft sounds. Sensual sounds. Race and rain. Ugh, they just vibrate the chest. Ugh. That's a good line. And now I give my sensual race the rain. Woof. Woof. It's getting hot in here. Fit thy consent to my sharp appetite. Fit thy consent to my sharp appetite. We have 10 syllables. Let's see if they are iambic. Let's mark it out as though it's iambic. Unstressed, stressed, unstressed, stressed, unstressed, stressed, unstressed, stressed, unstressed, stressed. Fit thy consent to my sharp appetite. I do not agree with this. I do not think that this line is actually regularly iambic. I am, however, going to mark my thy. But at this point, I think that all of the yous and my's up here, that comparison is over by this point. We've moved on after calumny. We moved on to a new thought. So I don't need to be underlining my's and you's anymore, because that's done. We've moved on to something else. I've already compared the two of us. I've already said that you're less than me, and people are gonna believe me. So we can take all of those me's and you's, and they're done. They're over. So I'm actually not going to underline thy. I feel like the me's and you's, those are done. It's time to pick something else. Is that Evan? Please tell me that's Evan. Evan, is it you? Is it you? I'm just staring at the chat, waiting for eBurns85 to tell me. Evan, I miss you. It was your birthday recently, right? If so, happy birthday. If not, fuck it, happy birthday anyway. So I disagree that this line, fit thy consent to my sharp appetite. I think today is birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, eBurns85. Happy birthday to you. Never singing ever again. I think that there are important words in this line that absolutely don't fit at all with the iambic. I think fit is a strong word because it's fit, and it ends in that fit. Oh, it's like the word fight or fuck. Fit. I feel like that's a strong word, and we need to use that word. That's a little gift that was given to us by sweet Shakespeare. Fit thy consent. Bella, seriously, dude. Stop. She's licking up my entire floor. My whole floor is gonna be just a puddle of drool. I cannot. And the worst part is the sound. The sound of her licking the floor. Do you hear that? Floor. I'm really feeling that. I'm feeling it. Lick. So words that end in that plosive and start with that fricative, they are angry, forceful words. So fit thy consent. Consent. Fit thy consent to my sharp appetite. Appetite. Appetite, right? Appetite. Appetite. I don't know how to emphasize that word. Now I'm thinking too much about it. Appetite. It's definitely on the appetite. Fit thy consent to my sharp appetite. So this one, actually, we have another antithesis in thy consent and my appetite. So now we've got the opposite of Isabel's consent and Angelo's appetite. So now we're comparing these two things. Fit thy consent to my sharp appetite. Lay by all nicety and prolixious blushes. Suddenly struck by the term assisted fit. I love that. Oh, that's great. We had a term back in another life, brother, when I worked in IT. We would ask people if they'd performed percussive maintenance on whatever it was that wasn't working, and it was essentially an assisted fit. Yeah, you just straight up, you like, did you smack it around? Okay, and it still isn't working? Well, then it must be actually broken. I like that, assisted fit. That's like me into society. Moving on. Lay by all nicety and prolixious blushes. Lay by all nicety and prolixious blushes. Okay. Lay by all nicety and prolixious blushes. I feel like this may be one of those lines where it's just like overstuffed, and there's just there's lay, one syllable, by, all, one syllable, all, one syllable, nicety, 3 syllables if you pronounce them all, prolixious, 4, and then blushes, right? So we've got 3 words, 3 multi-syllabic words, and not just not just 2 syllables, like 3 plus, prolixious, 4-syllable word here. So it could be that what we need to do is just force those words out in such a way that they just get out there kind of more quickly. Lay by all nicety and prolixious blushes. It's almost in kind of a terse manner. Yeah. Terse. Is that the word I want? English, man. But what I am going to do, even though this line doesn't fit, Belle, come in here and lay down, please. Come in here to your little nest and lay down in your nest. My sweet old girl. Sweet Bella. She's like 11 years old. She's ready for bed. She's confused. Why are we still awake? So I'm going to just accent Real Housewives of New Jersey. That's also me. I married a Jersey boy, right? I guess I'm Jersey housewife in North Carolina, something. Best timeline indeed. I want to say that not lay, but lay by. The phrase lay by, I think, is an important important part of this particular line. So, lay by all nicety and prolixity, not just some of it, but lay by all nicety and prolixity blushes. Blushes. Yeah, blushes. I like that word. So I know that I want to really feel blushes and nicety. But prolixious, this is something that I'm going to have to figure out. I'm going to have to figure this line out more later, basically, because I don't actually know what to do with it yet. I'm going to have to do the speech several times before I can figure out how it is exactly that I want. Not even how I want to do it, but how it comes out naturally. A lot of times what people will do with Shakespeare is they'll try to say, this is angry, so I'm going to do angry. But I find that a more, for me, a better approach, maybe not for everyone, but for me, a better approach is to say the words out loud. Usually, I really like to say them with a scene partner, and watch their expressions also, because they're listening to me say these words. So when I say these words, I like to see how they affect my scene partners, and then kind of